Howdy team, happy Thursday. I hope you guys are having a great week and that you're staying warm. I am attempting to, although I'm going to go brave the cold here again this evening, go watch another football game, but it should be fun. Listen, I'm excited about this lesson. Another one I know we've covered already once this year, but it's just so good. And this particular curriculum opens up a couple of pretty neat insights that I think are going to be helpful. So as far as just stuff that may be helpful to you, number one, man, the reviews option to start the lesson is just stinking funny. So read that beforehand and you'll laugh pretty good, but I think you'll get a lot of laughs out of your class too. So read those reviews. If you want to let kids find some other funny reviews, those are great. Let me encourage you, Google sugarless gummy bears reviews from Amazon. That will have you in stitches for sure. Nonetheless, anyway, that's a fun way to kick off the lesson. Number two, and I'm going to attach the link to the email, but watch this portion of episode 8 of The Chosen. And it's about 8 minutes long, but you actually see Jesus interact with the woman of the well, and it's just so good. It made me cry. It may make you cry too. In fact, if you want, we can show this on Sunday morning, either in your individual classrooms or just as a group. I think it's well worth our time. But y'all let me know what you want to do with that. As far as the lesson goes, a handful of things that I think are worth pointing out. I love verse 2 when it points out, and this is small, but it says that Jesus didn't do any of the baptizing, so his disciples did that. Just a subtle little reminder that he gives us the privilege of doing the work of the ministry. He's still here. He's empowering us. He's teaching us how to do this, but he lets us do the work, and that's a really cool privilege. So don't miss that tiny thing. Just be encouraged that the Lord's picked you to do this great work of student ministry. I hope you don't ever get tired of that. I sure don't. What a cool thing. Other thing too, man, I love how Jesus dives into people's lives that are shameful. And I'm not just talking about the woman of the well. I'm talking about just really the Samaritan people in general. Now, they weren't actually shameful, but they were deemed shameful. They didn't worship the right way. They didn't go to the right place. The woman of the well had been divorced 5 times. They had done shameful things and were shameful people. And on top of that, they didn't get along with the Jews, which automatically made you part of the enemy's list if you were a Jew. And of course they didn't get along with the Jews because the Jews despised them. The Jews were kind of like the snotty girl at school that doesn't understand why other people don't like them. That's really how it was with the Jews, right? But in this case, Jesus teaches us something really important, and that is when it comes to shameful people, he doesn't shun them. He actually presses in and involves himself into their lives. And that's good news because that's all of us. We have all done shameful, sad, awful things. The other thing I like too, when it came to Jesus' disciples, the people that had been forgiven of their shame, he puts them in uncomfortable situations. Think about this. Not only would it have been uncomfortable for them to go into Samaria, a land that they really kind of, at least in their heads, they thought was forbidden. Then he tells the disciples, hey, I'm going to sit here at this well. Y'all go into town and go get us some food. So now they have to go interact with Samaritan people and barter and get food. It's one thing to just tromp through the countryside, kind of like sneaking through somebody's back 40 of their lot. We would do that a lot growing up back home in Anson. It's a whole different ball game, though, to walk through somebody's front yard or to walk through their house, and that's what Jesus was telling them to do. This is important just to point out that oftentimes our sanctification is going to involve more than us just listening to a sermon and coming to understand things like prejudice is bad. He's going to put us in places where we learn why it's bad, and we start to see his heart and understand, wow, like people, regardless of where they're from or what color they are, they really are amazing. God made them an amazing way. The disciples weren't going to get that till they experienced it firsthand. And so that's what Jesus did. He took them to an uncomfortable situation and even pointed them into an uncomfortable situation. I also like the fact that Jesus took a bunch of people who were hiders and he turned them into seekers, specifically the woman at the well, right? She was constantly hiding her deeds and her faults and even hiding in the middle of the day away from everyone else. And instead, Jesus, because of what he taught her and how he changed her life, now she is, think about this, she's seeking out the people who have made her life miserable for years, and she's telling them the good news about the Messiah. That's an amazing thing. This is what the Lord wants to do with us. He changes us from hiders and turns us into seekers. And then the last thing, and I just think it's more than a little bit significant, is the fact that Jesus and the disciples were people that really, like the Samaritans didn't want anything to do with them. If for no other reason, they just thought the Jews think they're better than us. So when a Jew would roll into town, they would say, go away. We don't want you around here. They went from being people that were sort of despised, and now at the end of the story, we see that Jesus is being begged to stay for days. And they did. They spent more time with him. And this is what happens in our lives, guys, when we display Christ to others, when we are the aroma of life, like Romans talks about. All of a sudden, people that maybe would have shunned us at one time, not always, but some folks that would have shunned us at one time, now they're going to want us around because of who we represent. So y'all have a great time studying this lesson. I'm excited that we get to share this good news with students and we get to call them to this. And in the meantime, my prayer is that God would do this good work in our hearts too. Guys, I love y'all. We'll see you soon.